The forest doesn't ask you to be more than you are. It welcomes you as you are. Quiet, messy, still growing. That's enough. My son visited again recently, and we spent some enjoyable family time together. You won't see him in my content as he is very camera shy, and of course I respect that. I have spoken about my estrangement from my family on the channel, but I have never spoken about the family mystery that I know I will never be able to solve. My late father was born at the beginning of World War II in December 1939 and given away to a children's home right after birth. His step-parents were a couple almost in their 40s at the time who could not have children, and he was taken in by them. They were farm helpers and never educated to the extent that they were illiterate. My grandfather actually learned to read and write after he retired. With the war ongoing, my grandfather was finally ordered to join the army, and my grandmother was left alone with my dad. Towards the end of the war, they then had to flee their home in pursuit of saving themselves from the Russian army. My father was 5 years old at the time, and he only ever spoke once to me about the ordeal of their flight. There were only old people, women, and children in the large group they were traveling in, and they saw people drowning, trying to cross a frozen loch. Unable to help, they had to let people perish, and that must have been so difficult to witness. There were many occasions when they had to leave on the spot, and in one of those moments, my father must have lost the documents he carried around his neck in a bag, mainly his birth certificate. After the war, things were chaotic, but my grandparents were able to find each other and build a new life. My father's documents, however, were gone, and my grandparents, who have not been able to read at the time, could not tell the details other than my father's birth date and his mother's name. After some inquiries at his place of birth for documentation when my father got married, he knew that all registrations had been lost through and after the war. My father kept his mother's family name and was never officially adopted, and when I inquired about this one day, he said he wished he had taken his step-parents' name out of respect for all they had done for him. My grandparents loved my father so dearly, and they did everything for him to be able to have a good education. They even bought him a car once he passed his driver's license, and lived humbly and frugal themselves. Unfortunately, they died when I was a young child, and the many questions I have today remain unanswered. And sadly, it is the same when it comes to my father's biological family. I often wondered if he had siblings, uncles, aunts, cousins. My father did not want to investigate and know. As to him, his parents, the ones that took him in and loved him, were his family. I did some research for years though, especially when the internet came along and more information was available. But whatever I tried, whatever avenue I have taken, there is no trace of Emma, my father's mother, and whatever family he might have had. I often wonder about you, Emma. Why did you give him up? Were you young and unmarried? Were you asked to? Were you fearful that you could not be a good mother to him? Did you miss him? And did you try to find him? all those questions will remain a mystery that I very likely will never know the answer to. I have spoken on occasion about my wonderful father on this vlog, but never about the family mystery. So today I thought I'd like to share this with you. There is of course way more to tell. I would like to share one little other story with you where my father, when he turned 50 years of age, we put an ad in the newspaper, and there was a phone call made to my parents' house a couple of days later. My mother received this phone call because my father wasn't home, and there was a man on the line who said he had read the ad and that he found it odd because he had the same name and the same birth date as my dad. Since my dad wasn't home, my mom couldn't hand him the phone, and the man said that he would phone later. And I think my mother was a little overwhelmed and surprised. She didn't ask the man his contact details, and unfortunately he never phoned again. So that led us to believe that my father's documents that he lost during fleeing from the army, someone must have taken or found and taken the identity or given someone this identity, but we don't know. On another occasion, my dad saw someone in a supermarket that looked very much like my father, but he didn't approach the man. He did not ask or inquire anything because my father was a very respectful person and he wouldn't have done such a thing. So yes, there's more little stories about this. I just find it sad that we don't know anything, and that this will possibly never be solved, this mystery. I would like to know, but it might never happen. Maybe you have your own family mystery, and maybe you would like to share this with us. If so, please leave us a comment in the comment section. I personally am always very interested in reading these kind of things, so if you like, leave us a comment. I have also been asked about my mother recently, that I never mention her in the vlogs, and that is true, I haven't. And I was questioning myself there and thinking, why haven't you? And I think the answer is I was always closer to my father, and also the fact that my mother unfortunately died over 20 years ago. So the last 20 years were lived without her. I had nothing to share with her, and she wasn't part of my life in that sense. I think that is the only reason why I haven't told you about her, but maybe in another vlog I will. So that is the answer to that question I was asked recently. On a very different subject, I would like to say thank you to anyone who bought a pumpkin lately in the Etsy shop. They were sold out very quickly, and they are all now dispatched on their way to the new owners, and I'm sure lovely homes. Every purchase you make helps me and the channel to be sustainable, so thank you very much for that. I will knit more pumpkins, so if you have missed out, there will be more pumpkins possibly by the end of next week. I am knitting every day, so I can offer you more soon, and I will let you know as soon as that is the case. Also, we have reason to celebrate this week because we have reached the 20,000 subscriber mark. So we are now growing in a community, the channel is growing, and I would like to say a warm welcome to anyone who recently subscribed. This is a wonderful thing for me to see that my work and the effort and all the love is so well received. So thank you so much. You can help the channel by liking content or making a comment. It will help the reach so new people can find us. Thank you very much. On this topic, I should also say that I'm on Instagram as well. If you would like to follow me there, I have little reels there sometimes that you don't see on YouTube. I'm also on Patreon, as you might or might not know. Patreon holds mainly the same content that YouTube holds, but it's ad-free, so if you become a member, you can see everything without advertisements, and I put them out a little earlier as well, so you have early access to the content as well. So yeah, check it out if you like. All the links are on my channel, and everything that supports the channel supports this community. So thank you very much in advance. It is much appreciated. The seaside cottage was very busy this morning with the birds coming to the feeder and the mailman bringing the mail and the neighbor cutting the grass. So I hope that the back noises weren't too disturbing for you. I tried to find the quietest spot, which is the back hall of the cottage, which I recently redecorated. I'm sure you've seen this in my vlog. I was hoping that this is the quietest spot today, so I hope that worked. And now I am showing you what I did with my forest findings. let me say goodbye now. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and week to come. I am sending you lots of love and light from Scotland. Tach ba leif.